the younger ones, back last year, when we just opened the nursery, there was a fire alarm test, and some were so scared that just like hid under the tables. With the fire alarm, someone said, "Oh, is there bombing? So Russians are bombing us?" And said, "No, no, no, no. We are in London. It's safe. It's very safe in the UK." But that's their first idea. For them, that meant like the air alert, airstrike alert in a way, because they were used to this sound back in Ukraine. As I say, in Kiev, you hear it every single night for 3 to 5 hours every single night. So you get used to this sound. So any sound that reminds you of this reminds you of danger. So yeah, it's living in two different realities. When you come somewhere and it's your free will, you will always feel different. But when you're forced to come, and the children we work with are all underage, so it was the decision of their parents to come to the UK, we see that especially among teenagers, a lot of them are rebellious in a way that they want to go back home. Yes, it's dangerous. Yes, the cities are being bombed, but they really want to go back. And because at this age, you want to take your own decisions. So I know that mothers sometimes struggle because they say, "No, I just want to go back." Everybody knows, absolutely everyone. I can tell you with all confidence, I can attest to that. We have a separate project that we do when we do with the NHS, one of the NHS trusts, and we do the trauma screening for the kids. So believe me, every single child knows why he or she is here. They know that the war is going on. They know who the enemy is, and at the start of the war, when they were drawing pictures, there was a lot of war in those pictures. We saw the heavy bombings of the whole Ukraine, but especially Kiev, because every single night in May there were bombings. So we're drawing Kiev today, for example, to support, a lot of us are from Kiev, for example, to support those who are staying there. So people do respond and say that it helps them to live through, to distract themselves from everyday issues that they face here, because you may think that they were fleeing from war, but they came here and they faced different issues. Children find it difficult sometimes to adjust in school. Some are better at it, some are not, again, because either the language barrier or slightly different cultural barriers. The war has to end, so Ukraine has to win this war and everyone can back to real life. But in terms of helping the children, I think it's very important to understand the background of the children when they even go to British school. I know there's also another project that school launched where some of our teachers are going back to the British school and they work with the Ukrainian children. Because you never know, as I say, some need more support just because you are vulnerable. But if you go to school, like when you go to Ukrainian school, they're like laughing, they're running around. You would never even imagine that this particular child was hiding in the basement for a week and they had to melt the snow to drink the drinking water. And I'm talking 7, 11-year-olds. You cannot tell, you don't know. So therefore you have no idea what might have which impact on this particular child. So it's good to know the background, as I say, the story, where the child came from. And I'm not just talking Ukraine, any conflict zone, because children are most vulnerable and they're very resilient, but then this trauma can just come up later in life or in a couple of months, in a very particular way, maybe like even in the mood swings. And you might say, okay, the child is not. No, the child is just stressed.